In 2010, Syria was home to a diverse and thriving population of 23 million people. But since civil war began in 2011, over 10 million of them have had to flee their homes and livelihoods. From an initial 100,000 refugees, the UN predicts that 2015 will see an unprecedented exodus, with over 4 million people crossing the border to seek refuge in neighbouring countries, surpassing the displacement of the Rwandan genocide 20 years earlier. Many have found refuge in Lebanon, a country the size of Yorkshire, where they make up more than 25% of its population, putting an immense strain on the country's limited resources. The UN states that there is a shortfall of government funding, and £2.8 billion is needed just to help those that have fled the country. 80% of those fleeing the violence are women and children, and the UN reports that half of all Syrian refugees are under the age of 18. In a derelict building in Saida, 3 generations of families share a single, small apartment. A mother tells us how they came to be there.
كنا سعداء يعني أكثر من هيك ما بدي أقول لك أكثر من هيك. كنا سعداء كنا مرتاحين. كنا مبسوطين ما كان في شيء الحمد لله علينا كان منه قبل الأحداث. وصارت الأحداث هاي طبعا كركبنا طلعنا تحت القصف وبدنا نطلع ما عاد نعرف منين بدنا نطلع يعني من أنه شارع بدنا نمرق ما عاد نعرف لأنه وقت اللي الطيارة اللي ضربت الجيش الحر نزلها للطيارة ضربوها للطيارة نزلوها لأنه نزلوا الطيارة ما عاد يعرفوا كيف بدهم يضربوا صار ضرب علينا بكل الاتجاهات.
كيف هربتي من المنطقة؟
طلعنا بالسيارة ركبنا ما عاد نعرف منين بدنا نطلع القصف والرصاص والمدافع كلها شغالة والله تحت الضرب طلعنا ما عاد نعرف من أنه قرنة بدنا نطلع يعني كل ما نطلع من قرنة من هون يقول لك يعني مأساة شديدة.
After 2 days of continuous bombing and violence, she was finally able to escape with her husband and children. But even here, in relative safety, life is extremely difficult. They don't have any money, as her husband had an operation and cannot work and has to sleep on the floor. There is a lack of drinking water and electricity.
حرارة مثل النار صار بوجهنا من القرص ما بننام من القرص شوف مو طبيعي.
Here and across the region, Muslim hands are doing everything they can to help the millions of homeless refugees. But with UN funding falling below half of what's needed, and more refugees displaced from their homes than ever, more support is desperately needed. The most immediate challenge is providing food and other basic provisions to the families that need them. This woman lived in the countryside outside the city of Hama. She explains that they had everything they needed back in Syria, living off a few small plots of land. But after missiles hit their property, nothing would grow.
يعني بكينا كثير. والعالم اللي سايبناها هناك يعني ما بتعرف عنها بأي يوم يعني بتسمع عنهم خبر مو كويس.
Unfinished or unused buildings are often all that is available. This squalid, abandoned basement is home to a mother and 6 members of her family. One of her sons has asthma and needs an inhaler to breathe clearly. Another of her sons found work in a local supermarket, working from morning to night, but earns less than £2 a day. Although she's extremely grateful for the support, much more help is required in order to improve their living conditions and get a better education for her children. Most refugees still lack basic health care, as well as a legacy of brutal injuries and stress-related illness caused by the violence in Syria. The few doctors and nurses that travel between camps are under-equipped, exhausted, and face an impossible level of demand.
يحتاج النازحون السوريين إلى الأشعة الفحوصات التي لا تتأمن بالعيادة النقالة إلى اختصاصيين أطباء اختصاصيين إلى العلاج النفسي يعني من 8 ل 3 حسب العدد.
All of them suffer from neglect, especially children. They have here a lot of problems related to these Syrian people who leave their homes and come to here. I see a lot of children suffering from diarrhea, suffering from vomiting, pinworm infestations, which is related to unhealthy food or water. Best thing to do for these people to supply them with clean resources of water, okay, which protect them from spread of many of diseases.
He points out that because such a high proportion of the refugees are women and children, there's an increased need for everyday medical treatment, such as pregnancy care for the women and immunisation for the children. It's obvious the meagre medical provision is far from adequate. Whilst access to basic necessities like food and healthcare can help today, without access to education, few will ever be able to rebuild their lives. Many have not had schooling for over 2 years. But thanks to the support received so far, some are lucky enough to be able to attend a school, like this one in Saida.
We have here every kind of problems. We have orphans, we have children without mother or without father, their fathers or mothers in the prison or died. We face a problem because our student is all of areas here in Saida, from camps and many areas. If we couldn't get this money, I think we will lose a big number of our students. We thank Muslim Hands for this gift. We really thank them because we are going with our brothers hand to hand to help our children and to make them happy, to forget some problems and some miserable which they faced in lives.
Kamar is 17.
أنا عملت الامتحان شهادة وإجيت لهون. صار وقتها إنه ضرب عنا، كنت بحلب. صار عنا هنيك ضرب وإجيت لهون. بعد ما أنا إجيت ضربوا المدرسة عنا بالكيماوي. وقتلوا كتير طلاب من رفقاتي وهيك. مدرستي يعني هلا فيها شوي بس إنه تقريبا يعني رايحة.
Undaunted, Kamar wishes to become a pharmacist to help the injured in Syria.
ترجع سوريا مثل الأول وأحسن، وسوريا تكون قوية بالطلاب اللي صاروا إنه خلوها.
Muslim Hands is also helping to build a future for those who have been left behind by a lack of schools, giving financial independence to orphans who have lost everything, and an opportunity for young families to build a better life, whether here in Lebanon or upon their eventual return to Syria. This sewing centre is just one example of how young women are able to learn how to manufacture and sell garments to support themselves and others. At college, young women can also learn life skills such as childcare, culinary skills and accountancy, as well as language classes in English, French and Arabic. Young men are also learning essential skills such as computing and electrical engineering before going on to do practical training in air conditioning, business and household appliance maintenance. They also have access to specialist courses from which they can build a career, such as vehicle repair and even solar technologies. Many young people are already seeing the results of these programs, but demand far outstrips supply. Without additional funding, these colleges won't be able to continue offering these free training resources to those who need them most. Foreign aid and support is already making a difference in the lives of thousands of people displaced by the civil war. From helping a family to eat for a day, healing old wounds and treating current medical issues, to providing children with a safe place to play and learn. But even though Muslim Hands has provided much needed help across the whole region, without continued support, too many face a dangerous and uncertain future. Let's build a better tomorrow for the victims of war together. Find out more and donate today at muslimhands.org.uk.